There aren't many influencers that I like to follow. One I do appreciate is Rory Sutherland, the vice chairman of Ogilvy UK. I don't know if you've seen any of Rory's work. He's apparently blown up on TikTok. I've seen him on LinkedIn. But before I saw him on LinkedIn, I saw him in person, speaking at a conference last year. And also, I read his amazing book called Alchemy. Now, in this book, by the way, Rory Sutherland is the vice chairman of Ogilvy UK, founded by David Ogilvy, became the go-to advertising agency in the world. So I went very Jeremy Clarkson in the world. In Rory's book, Alchemy, he makes the case for what he calls psychological solutions. These are solutions to problems that you would think would require a logical solution. So, for example, he said, look at the London Underground. Okay. For years, people were moaning about the Underground. Oh, it's, the trains never arrive on time. It's too slow. Commuting takes ages. It's horrible. We need to get the trains running faster. We need to have new trains. We need to have new routes. We need to overhaul the old Victorian stations. Everything needs to change. And Rory said, yeah, you could do that, but that is going to involve ripping up the entire city of London and spending an astronomical amount of money. Instead, there is a psychological solution, which just involves a bit of human psychology. So instead of making the trains actually run faster, what we can do is we can put LED signs up at every station telling you exactly how long the next train is going to be. And we will make that information really accurate. So if the LED board says your train is going to be here in 9 minutes, it will be here in 9 minutes. If we say it's going to be 23 minutes, it will be 23 minutes. And the cool thing here is you no longer, as a commuter, waste time knowing whether your train is going to turn up or not. Instead, you go, okay, there's still 17 minutes to go. I can listen to an episode of my favorite podcast, the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. Of course, I can read another chapter of my book. I can delve into some of my emails. If you don't know when it's coming, and it could be 30 seconds or 30 minutes, you can't. You're always on edge. You're not going to be able to get deeper into that relaxation. You're not going to enjoy the commute as well. We're not necessarily making the commute shorter, but what we are doing is making it more enjoyable. He made a claim that you could rip up HS2 when HS2 was still a thing, and instead of spending however many hundreds of billions of pounds creating this whole infrastructure to save 25 minutes off the London to Manchester leg, what you could do is make the tickets more flexible so that you could turn up at the station and get on the next available train rather than having to wait for a specific train that if you miss that specific train, you can't get on the later one without paying for a whole new ticket. And if you're there earlier, you can't get on the earlier train because you don't have a ticket for that train. So you watch an empty train go past, reducing the commute time and the psychological effect. This is something we can all use in our businesses. And I think I've got a solution to the inheritance tax problem. The first problem we have with inheritance tax is the name. It's a tax. As I've said on previous podcast episodes, taxes are disincentives. So let's rebrand inheritance tax. It's no longer a tax on death. It's now a living gift. It's okay, at the end of your life, what would you like to do? Where would you like to give back to society? And let's give people some choice. When you pay your living gift, or whatever the hell we're going to call it, not a tax, would you like it to go to the NHS? Would you like it to go to education? Would you like it to go to foreign aid? Would you like it to go to this charity, that charity? You decide where your money goes, because that's the problem right now. The psychological problem, the biggest problem most people have with inheritance tax, other than it feels inherently unfair, is the government will waste my money. I've worked my entire life for this money. If I give it to my children, I trust them to spend it wiser than I trust the government. So if you've got a say in it, I know this isn't going to be a catch-all, but I reckon we could increase inheritance tax takes by rebranding it as a lifelong gift back to society, and you get a say in where it's spent and where it won't go, where your money will not be spent. As I said, I am an amateur economist. I'm an amateur human psychologist. I don't have all the answers, but to me, that seems better than the current system. How can we do that in our business? Look for these psychological solutions. Look for the area whereby instead of ripping up the entire business model and starting again and rebuilding the infrastructure from scratch, you can make it more enjoyable. You can make the time spent queuing a bit more enjoyable. You can make the whole process just go by with a smile on your face by using solutions that are far cheaper, but that tap into human psychology. There's plenty of reading on this. I thoroughly recommend that you start with Rory Sutherland's book, Alchemy. As I said, apparently you can find him on TikTok as well, but definitely recommend the book. Looking forward to seeing your psychological solutions.